No.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Google Plus Business Spotlight. My name is Stepan Hovnanian, and I'm your host. And I'm really excited today to have with me a good friend of mine who I've come to meet here on Google Plus, and who's just doing a really a great job with something totally unique and different from what we normally see here. That's Michael Bennett from Michlin Metals. And going to turn the floor over to Michael in a few minutes, but first I wanted to just give you a little bit more of an overview of the show in case this is the first time you're joining us. So this is a weekly show that basically puts the spotlight on different businesses and how they're using Google+. It's so much easier to just learn from people who are doing it themselves and make it something where you can have takeaways and just go do some make Google Plus work for your own business. Instead of having to listen to experts and all the different people that may not be in the trenches like you are every day. So, having said that, if you're interested in becoming a guest here on the show, there's a link pretty much anywhere you look related to this event. So on the event page, it's websitehangouts.com/spotlight. If you're part of the Google Plus for Small Business community, which is sort of where we pull from in order to find guests for the show, there's a link also there on the sidebar. And let's see, we have I have a great sponsor who is always do that roll, who's right here, Certified Hosting. Wanted to thank them for being a part of this show today, and just to give you a little spiel on those guys because they have a cool offer too. They were established in 1999. They're a Southern California-based unlimited web hosting company that provides a myriad of different types of services, pretty much customized to your needs. So, shared hosting, co-located, dedicated, managed providers, and again, they're really focused on helping you get exactly what you need and nothing that you don't. And as somebody who provides that kind of service myself, I definitely can relate to being able to give people what they're looking for. So go check out Certified Hosting, and there's also a coupon code for 35% off pretty much anything you want over there. And if you use the code CHSPOT, Certified Hosting Spot, CHSPOT. So go check them out. And again, a real big thanks to them. And now that we've gotten all that housekeeping stuff over with, I appreciate your patience. But now we're going to turn it over to Michael Bennett. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Michael, about Michlin Metals, and kind of what you're doing here on Google+. Then we'll get into some of the examples and tips and stuff that you have for us.
Well, thank you for the intro, Stefan. It's been a pleasure getting to know you this year. I really value all the awesome input you've been able to give to me and help you've been able to give me. But again, my name is Michael Bennett. I'm with Michlin Metals. We are an aerospace metal distributor. We are located outside Chicago in Northbrook, Illinois. Next year will be our 30th year, so we'll be 30 years old next year, which is pretty cool. We're moving in February, so lots of big things happening. But I came onto Google Plus this year, and because you could rank in search, figured that was a very good reason to be here. Because if you're going to try to get business, get revenue through that channel of the web, you need to be found. And the only way to get found is getting out there. Now, granted, there's a few caveats that go along with that. Not every post that you put up is going to get ranked in search, or let alone indexed. And it's tough to get engagement on a brand page, which I'm finding. So I've taken a different approach. I've taken more of a personal approach to try to develop my own brand, which, again, I've done some drive decks, starting to take some pictures, and it works. But now I've enabled people to see me, and then they want to see Michlin, because no one cares about businesses if they don't know who the person running the business is. So I've given them that personal. I've given people that personal touch to where they now know me. So if I circle them through Michlin Metals, they're like, oh, I know Michlin Metals. That's Michael Bennett. So I'm going to circle him back, or maybe I'll engage with some of his content and see what he's doing on Michlin. But I'm taking a different approach by using Michlin through Hangouts. Is one huge thing that I'm doing on Google+. And the reason why is because Hangouts, whether solo or with people, get ranked, get indexed almost instantaneously in search. And for me, in the metals industry, there are not a lot of social people. There's not a ton of keyword-heavy, SEO-friendly websites that our traffic gets pushed to. Yeah, you know, a lot of the big boys are all out there for the keyword stainless steel and stuff like that. But if you use the long tail keywords for stuff that I sell, we're out there. I'm one of the only people up until yesterday or today, until we saw that update, that had the authorship picture out there for the metal industry. I know we're having a few quirks and glitches potentially right now with the authorship photos showing up, which is just new as of the last 24 hours. Besides that, before that, my picture was showing up in search, which again, if you know that a photograph is going to lead to a higher click-through rate. So if I'm the only one with authorship set up, people are going to click on my link much more than a link below me, which is just a person, which is just text. In addition, it doesn't hurt that if you see my link with my picture and then the text next to it, it says I'm in X amount of circles, which again is just some social proof that helps reinforce why people would want to make that click-through. But again, it's about carving out a niche. And since there aren't a lot of people in metals on Google+, and we're anticipating Google+ going to places where it has yet to go, why not plant the flag? Why not stake out my territory? Why not carve out a niche for myself that is so far, it's working. I mean, I can make a Hangout. I can do a Hangout. I can make the video. I can put it up. I can post on my G+ page. I can immediately go and look for it, and it's there. It's on search. It's on Google. So again, it's just a forward-thinking view that allows this company to gain exposure where it wouldn't normally have gotten it from just standard, typical SEO practices.
That's pretty awesome. So yeah, you are taking a slightly different approach than, even I advocate. I mean, I'm a big fan of, and we have, gosh, in the small business community, the Google+ for small business community, where we feel this at least once a week. Should I use a profile or should I use my page? What do I do? How do you balance it? And I mean, just to kind of, if I can piggyback on what you're saying, it sounds like to an extent, I do still think that there's a lot of value in building up your brand as a brand, just like you're doing. Being focused on the things that your brand does, even if you're bringing in industry coverage from outside the web and it's not your own content. You're saying, hey, this is what I do. I'm into metals, and here's news related to metals, or here's my own content related to metals, and so that that'll help you kind of secure that keyword. But then on the personal side, it sounds like at the bare minimum, it makes a lot of sense to be somewhat active. I know you've kind of taken a completely different approach and becoming really active, but let's say a business said, you know what, we really don't have the time to run 2 profiles. Our business page, which we have a lot going on, and our personal profile. What are your thoughts on, I guess, the idea of just maybe having just enough activity on your personal page and maybe doing enough networking so that you're in those you get the social proof of being in circles, so that when your authorship does show up, people will be able to relate to it at the bare minimum, but you're doing most of the bulk of the work on your on your profile. I mean, what do you think? I'm just throwing that out at you.
I think that if you're capable of creating engaging content through your business, then that's something that you need to be focusing on. I think it's very important for people to differentiate themselves through that content. And there's so many different ways to create content now that when I first started, I was like, how do people like yourself, how do you guys go about writing articles all the time? I mean, like Mike Alton, guy just cranks out articles all the time, and these guys, you guys are amazing. And for me, I'm not a big writer. I'm not, words flow more easily through my mouth than through my hands typing. So so Hangouts for me were perfect. I love to talk, but getting back to your question, if you can focus on your business, obviously that's ideal. But the problem with that inherently is if you're only focusing on your business or just active enough so that people are starting to get to know you, is that people don't buy from brands unless you're Tide or Coke or whoever.
Best Buy, they just did something the other day, I think, with a live hangout where you can do some shopping. So yeah, major names, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unless you're established in the marketplace, which, let's face it, a lot of these guys on here, myself included, are not established in the marketplace where anybody would know you versus Joe Schmo. So it's people buy from people. They make buying decisions based on emotions. Now, again, there aren't a lot of people in the metals industry on social, but they will be there at some point. And even if they're not on social, by being found on the web, they're there. There I am. If you look up, we just got AS9120 certified, which is an aerospace standard that is internationally known. So if you look up AS9120 metal supplier, I think I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I don't think there's anything past 6 or 7. So there's not even 10. If this is a huge if, the industry leads toward having to purchase this type of metal through somebody who is certified, that's not even funny because I own it. There's no one else, and that could be huge. But that's 2 or 3 years down the road. And right now, I got bosses barking at me saying, "Why are you spending so much time doing this? What is the value of this? What is it bringing to us?" And that's a huge thing. Is companies justifying the ROI on social, and it's hard for me because I'm not as analytical as, let's say, someone is yourself, where I can tell you every click came through via this channel. If I annotated my YouTube link and I got a hit from a YouTube, and it turned into an order because they were inquiring about this keyword and they ended up making this purchase, like, I don't have time to do all that. I can't. It's mind-boggling how much analytics a person should be running versus what they are actually running. But you need to focus on your personal brand until people know you. And it takes a long time for people to get to know you because you're just a very small fish in a very, very big sea. And you're even smaller as a brand. So it's good to, if you are a business and you are concentrating on that, go 70%, go 60, 70% business, go 20, 30% personal. But stay consistent. Whatever you do, just be consistent. If you're posting 2 times a day on your business page, post 2 times a day. And it's ideal if you could post at the same time, depending on your type of content. Not at 1 o'clock, your magic number. There are no magic numbers because posts do what they're going to do organically. Yes, we have tools and they're great. It's wonderful, but be consistent. That's huge. The fact that I post a sunrise picture every morning at 6 a.m. and one again at 7 p.m. or 6:30, people bank on that. They're like, I love seeing this stuff. I'm happy to see it. Every single night I post. I don't miss a night. I might miss some nights next week because I'll be away for a little bit, but stay consistent. It's huge. It's imperative.
That's a great point. And again, to piggyback on that, and this actually could go into a couple of tips that you and I have kind of talked about off air, because we do like to give the people viewing, we'd love to give them tips, things to walk away with, and actually tangible things that they could try today or put into place for their own Google Plus marketing strategy. So the idea of there's a couple of things I think you're talking about. Being able to engage as a person, getting people to meet you and understand who you are. So one thought could be, for example, commenting as yourself on your business page. This way, you can keep track of the comments, and then also get to know the people that are making the comments. Stuff. Let's kind of hash out a couple of things people can do to find that balance, but also be able to build those relationships.
That's a great idea, by the way. I don't do that. I haven't done that. It's the commenting to read later kind of thing. Except this is very much purpose driven, where yes, you'll read it later, or in this case, it's, hey, who is talking to me? If I'm the one running the brand page, and I don't comment on the post, and then you go off the brand page for a day, you come back, you lost the opportunity to engage with any commenters that were there the day before. For instance, today there was a nice woman who commented on my Michlin metal share of the event, and I only saw it this morning because I posted a couple things on Michlin yesterday, and I didn't comment as Michael Bennett, so I missed it till today, which normally under the circumstances is not a huge deal, again, because brands get less focus here.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I mean, I think it's okay that, like, you're not hopping in there immediately. I mean, I know on Twitter I forget, there's numbers out there as far as what people's expectations are, and Twitter is definitely one where people expect brands to chime in and respond quickly, usually within hours. But I mean, I think Google Plus things move a little slower, especially a brand page, even a person. I mean, you could hop in the next day and be totally cool with it.
Yeah, but that definitely is a good idea. Comment on your brand page so that you can be aware of any conversation that might take place.
Yeah, and so another one that you can do is to share from your brand page to your profile. I mean, that's one you and I do a lot. You start off with a brand post, and then you share to your profile. It doesn't have to be immediate. It could be down the road. Maybe you share it to a community. You can mix things up a little bit, but you're giving people the ability to see that, yeah, I work for this company. And the one thing that the tip I would give anybody who knows ahead of time that they want to do that with that particular post, write all the important stuff in the company page post. Because if, let's say Michlin Metals writes this really long post and then Michael shares it, well, anybody who shares it from Michael's page is going to lose all of Michael's information. Like, anything he wrote is going to be gone, because only the original post is the thing that hops around. So what you want to do is put all the really important stuff, plus mention yourself so that people know that the two of you guys are related. Any other types of plus mentions and, tagging that you want to do for people who, may have been part of the thing that you're sharing, any hashtags, all that stuff. Make sure all that is important, is in the original page post. And, formatting, I know, Michael, you're great at that. So, for those of you who don't know, there's some basic formatting we can do. If you use asterisks on either side of the text, it makes it bold. Hyphens makes it strike through. Underscores makes it italics, and you can nest them. So you can do bold italics by having, like, I usually put bold on the outside, so it would be like asterisk underscore my text and then underscore asterisk. So just make sure that it goes into out, and then you get a lot more effect that way. So the cool part with the resharing thing that I just talked about is that your brand page gets way more exposure, because it has a nicely formatted post. It's got the hashtags. It's got more discovery, because now that thing's getting reshared once you put it back over onto your own personal profile. Does that make sense? It's a tough thing, because using the same words all the time: share, reshare, post, page, blah blah blah. So it's a tough thing to.
Yeah, and one caveat there is, those of us who manage multiple pages or multiple brands and whatnot sometimes have to engage with ourselves. So you got to tread carefully here, because if I'm commenting, if I post as Michlin Metals and I comment as Michael Bennett, and then I comment again as Michlin Metals, you try not to have a conversation with yourself. You try not to make it seem like you're this entity as Michlin Metals as well as Michael Bennett. So again, it's just a tightrope to walk. So be careful. Don't say, Michlin Metals shouldn't be like, oh my God, Michael Bennett, you're so awesome. We love you. You're great. And then you come in as Michael Bennett. You're like, oh, thanks, Michlin Metals. I mean, it just, people know that you're doing that. It might seem a little awkward. So just be careful not to slap on too much praise, or if you're insulting, don't insult them too much, because you're just talking. So anyway, be careful if you engage with yourself too much.
That's a great tip. I know, like, when I've done it, I'll for myself, because that's just something I do as well. I'll put in, I'll put just some commentary like, this was a lot of fun to write, or this was definitely, I'm excited about it. Like, just a personal thought, not so much like thank you or praise one way or the other. It's just more like what was my favorite part of the article that I'm sharing from my company page, little things, just so people can make a personal connection, and so I get the notifications afterwards because I commented, and also so it doesn't look like I'm talking to myself. But the other thing I do, like, if I do that, I'm done with the page. Like, I don't come back as the page and end up, like, I'll continue the conversations on the.
You can also say commenting as.
Oh yeah. A lot of people do that, So this is great. We're kind of at our 20-minute mark, which is where I try and cap it. And Michael, you've been fantastic as always. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the the insights, because you're in an industry that I think it's cool that looking at the long term and some of the things that you're putting together. I mean, it's a good viewpoint to have, and especially when it comes to what Google Plus can do for your business. And so, thanks a ton. I really appreciate you coming. Real quick, we have a holiday special next week because next Wednesday is Christmas. So we're switching to Monday, and I'll be posting more about that later in the comment section on the event page. Follow us everywhere, share us everywhere. Please help support the show, because it's hopefully it's something where small businesses can really become more comfortable using Google Plus, and people like Michael and Michlin Metals can get a little more exposure, which obviously is great for them. Another big thanks to Certified Hosting for sponsoring today, and again, just thank you everybody, and we will see you. We'll see you on the event page and answering any questions, and hope to see you around. Thanks a lot.